TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is Three Men in a Box. Well, we're still at Two Men in a Box. Shout out to Quentin Mills, working hard. Thank you for your service, sir. Shout out to Smitty, as you're working hard as well. But it's me and Matt to break down some college baseball as we're getting closer to conference championship time. And then we'll kick off the road to Omaha with some regionals, some super regionals, and, of course, the final 8 in Omaha. Shout out to our proud sponsor and partnership, WagerWire. Go download the app at Google Play or wherever you download the apps. It's free. So without further ado, the star of this show, the one and only Mr. Matt Grissom.
Jeffrey,
what
the
is up
with the mostest? I swear I can't scroll Twitter without seeing you. You're talking to somebody. You're talking to Bill Gates. You're talking to somebody handicapping the horse races. You're talking everything and anything. I swear it's not going to surprise me if one day there's a special interview with the President of the United States. But I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're blessed to have you here. And speaking of the Kentucky Derby, good friend, and of course, friend of yours and colleague, Mr. Sean Alvarez was talking you up and saying in a couple of weeks he will be meeting you at the airport, he said.
Yeah, he wants to ride in that Circa limousine. So I think I told you the last time we tried this, they sent a black car. So he got to ride in a Suburban. Wasn't as excited, to say the least. That being said, it's always good to see Shawnee.
Yeah, he's all fired up. We had a great show. After this show, I'm going to get out my alert to the ECSI VIPs. And then I think I'm taking a trip over the Sagamore Bridge. I'm going to go see some friends and colleagues up at the local track. I'm going to put in my action live, so I'll have the full tickets. I don't need to use DK Sportsbook or anything. So when we cash, I'll have the full live ticket in my hand. How's that?
There you go.
Another week has passed. No golf cart. We have no Q driving home. So what'd you see last weekend? How'd you hit them? Who's hot and who's not?
Man, I'm really liking this Florida State team. This is a team that they have a solid ace in Jamie Arnold, who you're going to get to see tonight. That's actually one of the first plays I made last night was Arkansas and Florida State moneyline parlay for plus 111. These two studs, I mean, you're talking about two of the best aces in the country, and in Hagen Smith and Jamie Arnold. But Florida State, they're swinging the bats really well too. As far as ACC teams, it's really just them and Clemson at this point. It's like a 2-horse race.
Going back, top 5, I assume that A&M is still 1, Arkansas is 2, Tennessee 3. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, top 3 in the SEC, which doesn't really surprise me. They're all 3 on the road this weekend, so that's something to keep an eye on. Arkansas travels to face Kentucky, who's ranked number 8 in the country. Tennessee is in Gainesville playing Florida, and Texas A&M travels to Alex Box in Baton Rouge to take on LSU.
Who do we get to round out the top 5? Who's 4 and 5?
Clemson is in there, I think, at 4, and then I know Oregon State is 6. Why do you have to ask me these tough questions, Jeff? Hang on just a second. Why is it escaping me right now, though, who the 5th ranked team is? East Carolina. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The Pirates have made it.
Now, when I think of East Carolina, I don't think of Hagen Smith. I don't think of Paul Skeens. Mr. Lauder. How the hell are they top five right now?
They have a stud, Trey Savage, and they have a really good game two starter in Zach Root. This team is solid. They've got a very comparable pitching staff to that of a Power Five team, and they've got the bats. You know, that was kind of their biggest question mark going into the season, but their bats are pretty decent too. They're a team to watch. It's all going to be based on matchups, who they get faced up against in the regional round. They're going to be a host. Right now, they're going to be a national seed, but East Carolina's good.
Well past the halfway point, a handful of weeks. Kids are graduating this weekend in some of the schools. Give us the thought process going back to when we started this show to where we are today. I like to add this for people that are new coming on for the first time here. Some buy low and sell high spots here, Matt.
So many of the odds are getting soaked up right now. Last year it was just wait because you're going to get a better team. You could have gotten LSU at the beginning of the season, I think plus 600. By the end of the season, going into Omaha, I think they were like plus 1,000, plus 1,100, just because you have so many teams that are fluctuating. And realistically, this year there's like 4 or 5 really good teams, and then there's the rest of the field. So of course the odds are priced that way. I mean, there's no real value in betting Arkansas, Texas A&M. That ship has sailed. I think they're like plus 410, plus 450, plus 500, somewhere in that ballpark. Then you've got your next tier, which is like your Tennessee, Clemson. I think they're both like plus 8 or 900. Maybe you can get 10-1. But after that, I feel like you may just be donating money into a lost ticket, because if they're going to be dogs going into Omaha, they're going to be a dog in each game too. So there's really no hedging opportunities there. So the best thing I could tell you is, if you're just dying to have a futures ticket, I would have one on Arkansas and Texas A&M right now. They're the top 2 teams in the country, and it's not going to be surprising to me if it comes down to another all SEC affair like we saw with Florida and LSU last year.
I cringe to ask you, do we have a UConn update?
I've not looked into UConn. I do know that they've been on somewhat of a hot streak here. Let me pull up the rankings real quick, which is something cool that we just incorporated. We've got an insider power rankings over at collegebaseballinsiders.com. Your UConn Huskies are RPI ranked 44th, but IPR, insiders power rating, they're number 20. They are 9-1 in their last 10 games. So the Huskies are playing well, 24-18, 37th ranked strength of schedule. So they're doing it against formidable opponents. So UConn, team to keep an eye on right now as they make a postseason push.
Before we dig into the games that you're looking at today and for the weekend, I like to bounce around the country. Give us an update in the ACC.
ACC, like I said, it's really a 2-horse race at this point, to stay with the Kentucky Derby theme. You've got Clemson, and you have the team just escaped my mind, Florida State. There we go. They're your top 2 teams in the ACC right now, and I feel like they're going to hold it down. North Carolina could make some noise, and I think Virginia is always kind of sneaky. It just depends on whether or not these teams get to be a regional host. Or North Carolina is really good at home. They kind of struggle on the road, which is a common theme in a lot of college baseball this season. But ACC right now, it's Clemson, Florida State.
And we always go out to the Pac-12. What's the Pac-12 looking like?
So the Pac-12 is kind of getting really dicey at this point. Your favorite coming into the season was Oregon State, like far and away the best team in the Pac-12, but they're really struggling to win games on the road. They got swept at Cal, which was not a good look. Right now, if I told you to take your wildest guess of what team was leading the Pac-12, I don't think you'd get it. It's the Utah Utes. They're 14-7, followed by Arizona, who's also 14-7. And then you drop down to Oregon State, who are 12-8, 12-9. So, like, this is a really tight race. I feel like it's going to come down to the last series of the season, which Oregon State, I believe, travels to Tucson to take on Arizona. So that's probably going to be the series that causes the winner of the Pac-12.
How about anyone heating up in the Big 12?
No. Well, okay. I don't mean to slide that to the side because Oklahoma State is playing really well, but the Big 12 in and of itself is pretty bad this year, which is disappointing because I really thought Texas would be a lot better. Oklahoma's kind of made some splashes here and there. Kansas has kind of looked good, but they're 12-9. Right now, 15-6 is Oklahoma. They're the leader in the clubhouse, followed by Oklahoma State and West Virginia, both at 14-7. So to answer your question, teams heating up, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, those are two teams I definitely keep an eye on. They have some star power, Nolan Schubart with Oklahoma State and then J.J. Weatherholt over at West Virginia. Those are two guys that can absolutely smash, and both of them are on a 4 and a 6 game win streak at this point. So Oklahoma State, they're one of my plays today, minus 135. They're taking on Texas down in Austin. So if you can still get that minus 135, I'd hop on it.
Of course, Mr. Alvarez ears was ringing in the intro. He goes, hey, I know that guy. Hi, Matt. So a shout out to Mr. Alvarez. We were talking about you, Sean, Mr. Smooth. As Matt came in on his intro, he said he caught a glimpse of you and I talking yesterday about the Kentucky Derby. As I told Matt, and I will tell you now, after this show, after I get my alert out, I'll be taking a trip over the bridge, heading up to the Raynham-Taunton area to place a wager on 11 Forever Young, 10-1, wink, wink, and I put together some exactas, and I'm going to put together a few tries. So hopefully we cash a ticket there.
I think Sean really likes Forever Young too, doesn't he?
That's where I got it from the horse's mouth, Mr. Forever Young.
I'm hearing a lot of Mystic Dan. If it's rainy, if it's a sloppy track, Mystic Dan, he was a winner down in Oaklawn. Just a name to keep an eye on.
Sean goes, was it only yesterday? I'm exhausted. Yes, Sean, enjoy this weekend. I was watching FanDuel with Mr. Dubsy this afternoon, watching a few races, and it was a sloppy track there. It looks like it might be getting a little better, but hopefully with 24 hours, they'll have a lot. The track will be cleaned up a lot more. Before we get to your plays, let's do the circuit with the smaller schools, the Coastal Carolinas, the Campbells. Give us a couple of those small schools that are playing well right now.
Coastal Carolina had a really bad showing last weekend. They were swept at home by Troy. But on the flip side, Troy, the Trojans are playing really well out of the Sun Belt. East Carolina, I mean, I don't know if there's a hotter team in a mid-major right now. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They're really good. UC Irvine, 32-8 on the year out of the Big West. Their IPR is up there. I mean, they're ranked number 19. They're 8-2 over their last 10. This is a team that, that West Coast baseball, they've got all of the guys that didn't go to the Power 5 schools, and they're sitting over here winning better than any of the other Pac-12 schools. So that's impressive. Love the Anteaters over at UC Irvine. Outside of that, there's really not been anybody that's caught my eye out of the mid-majors.
You beat me to it. The Anteaters, one of the best names in college sports right there. All right, it's that time. Why don't you give us your Friday night card, your Friday night lights, your weekend cards. Give us all the good nuggets so we can cash some tickets this weekend.
I got to go with the favorite for university names. I think Long Beach State has everybody beat. They'd be like my minus 500. The Dirtbags. That's that is the baseball name. Best bets. I've got the Tennessee Volunteers. They're minus 1 foot. Well, I say that they were minus 145 last night. This game ended up getting rained out. It did carry over at Bet Saracen here in Arkansas. I think a lot of places voided it, though. So that is one carryover bet. They're playing a doubleheader today, which doubleheaders always get weird. I feel like it's a one-off. So, like, one team's going to win one team's going to win the other. So if you like Tennessee in the first game and they win, bet Florida in the second game. I feel like it's foolproof. Texas A&M, they've got Ryan Prager going up against Gage Jump at LSU. Look, LSU, they've got all the talent in the world. They cannot seem to piece it together at the right time. I think they could win this series, but until Ryan Prager and Texas A&M proves to me that they peaked too early and that they're going to come back down to earth, at minus 125, I had to take the Aggies. Kansas is another team. I love backing them on Friday nights. Reese Dutton is an absolute stud on the mound. They're playing against Owen Barema and Kansas State Wildcats. Sorry, Kelly in Vegas going against your Cats. Georgia Bulldogs, minus 125. I cannot remember for the life of me who they are playing. Just hit a wall, Jeff. Just hit a wall. South Carolina's playing Georgia. Hello. That's who I was thinking. I'm losing my mind. Georgia's playing Vanderbilt. Bryce Cunningham, really good road split or really good home splits. Not as very good on the road. So I'm backing the Bulldogs. Charlie Condon, if you have not watched this team play, this offense is phenomenal. They're one of the top 5 offenses in the country. Love Georgia at a short number. Vanderbilt, to me, is overrated. They've got solid pitching, but their bats don't really wake up, especially when they travel. Cincinnati, I think that game may have already gone off. I got them plus 125. That was one that College Baseball Insider's model liked. We actually made Cincinnati the favorite here, so getting the plus money on them and Houston. Satelli going for the Houston Cougars, and Satelli's been good. This is going to be a tight game, so I felt like getting the plus 105 and a coin flip. It probably should have been minus 115 both ways. And then Washington State plus 2.5. Grant Taylor, he is an absolute stud. They are hosting Oregon State, who I talked about earlier. They can't seem to win on the road. Aiden May has played really well. This total, I think, is down to 9.5, which is pretty low for Pac-12 baseball. But if you're going to give me the home dog with the stud ace on the mound plus 2.5, minus 110, I've got to take it. And then same goes for Kentucky. I'm Razorback through and through, but I'm also a realist. You're talking about a total that has crept down from 9.5 to 8.5. Arkansas is minus 230, 240 on the money line. Kentucky is at home, RPI ranked number 3 team in the country, and they're getting 2.5 runs. If you look back at the win margins when Hagen Smith is on the bump, they don't bring the bats, and call it whatever you want, complacency or just being comfortable that your stud is going to keep you in the game. But against South Carolina, it was 2-1. Against Florida, it was 2-1. Against Alabama, it was 4-3. Against Ole Miss, it was 5-2. LSU, 7-4. Like, these margins are tight in Hagen Smith games. Yes, Arkansas wins them, but you're talking about a good Kentucky team that figures out ways to get on base. They don't strike out a lot. Kentucky Wildcats plus 2.5. I'm not fading the Razorbacks. I just don't think that they're going to blow them out.
All right, we got a list of them here for you. You guys have been doing amazing work. This is our second full season with you, NCAA Insiders. We took the baseball run last spring, and then we parlayed it into the football run. Plan to do it and run it back again with you and Q this year. But you're building your models, you're building your brand, you're building everything second to none right now. And it's not just great for you guys; it's great for the sport. You're able to, you broaden the horizon. You're bringing more eyes to the skies here, and we can't thank you enough, Matt.
Well, thank you. It's a lot of fun. I always love coming on, even if I ramble and forget where I'm rambling. I will say I've crossed over the plus 20 unit mark. I'm 177 and 139. Every bet tracked at NCAAinsiders.com. You can click on our bet tracker, or you can find it at collegebaseballinsiders.com. But also, I got to give the shout out because Q and Smitty, we absolutely killed it last week. I think our Friday best bets card that we posted on Twitter went 20-3. That is like elite stuff right there.
No, that's drop the mic, retire stuff. You're not going to duplicate. I go back to 2017. Okay, I had the greatest run in conference championship and March Madness. I went 30-2 for the tournament, and I'm still now in 2024, 7 years later, trying to chase that dream down. So you take that card, you turn it into a poster, you get it shellacked and plaqued. You post that, and that's every morning you go and you kiss it, because that's what you're striving for every Friday night, brother.
Well, I'll say it just like Dave Van Horn said when somebody asked him, "Are you afraid that this team is peaking too soon?" He kind of laughed and said, we have not even come close to peaking yet. And we're sitting here as the number 2 team in the country. So I feel like the best is yet to come. And we're just going to continue to get better. It took me a while to catch up to Q and get those plus 20 plus units over here. But Q's absolutely killing it this year. I think he set it out as a personal goal to just demolish me after I slightly did better than him last year. He's plus 31 units. I'm plus 20.03 right now. So it's a tight race, but hey, at the end of the day, if you follow Q and I's picks and throw Smitty in there too, you're going to finish the college baseball season up units. That's 4 years running now that I've tracked my bets, and knock on wood, I've always had a double-digit unit positive year. So let's keep it rolling. The regionals, conference tournaments, that's all around the corner. So if you're not getting familiar with the website yet, go check it out.
Shout out to Mr. Alvarez, Mr. Smooth. Go get some rest, Sean. Big day tomorrow. I know there's a big afternoon down at Churchill Downs as well. You made the rounds. I can't wait for the greatest 2 minutes in sports, the Kentucky Derby, the 150th running of the Roses. Go check out Sean Alvarez at Smooth Turn 2 and Wager Talking. Of course, the scroll has been going here the whole time. You can follow Matt at Grissom on X, at NCAA Insiders. Quentin Mills at Q Millie. That's 3 L's and 2 Y's. The best in the business. We can't thank everyone here that's been watching. Go cash some college tickets. Go have some fun this weekend, and we'll catch you guys same time next week. See you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.